G'day everyone, thanks for stopping by. Today is going to be another video on the Pajero. We're going to cover off the activation of the alarm that you probably didn't know you had in your Pajero. I believe this is applicable for NS onwards, don't quote me on that. Ultimately what you're going to need to do is just have a crack at this on your Pajero to see whether it works or it doesn't. I apologise for getting you all excited if yours doesn't have the alarm set up in it. I believe it was a standard option, so they've all got it. This was a GL model, so this was a POV pack originally, albeit that the original owner had a number of other packs added to it, the safety pack, the sports pack and a bunch of other stuff. So it doesn't necessarily look like a GL, albeit that it was a GL model. So it's a baseline model, and I can confirm that my model does have the alarm. One thing you can do is just on the dash, just at the front in the center, there's a little LED. If we just remove this dash mat, my dash mat does actually have a hole here for the little LED, so it does show up. If we pull that off, you can see just over here, you've got this hump in the dash. Just to the left there, left of center, you're going to see there's a little LED light. When you actually activate the alarm, that little LED is going to come on. Now once you actually activate that alarm, the little LED is going to start flashing. Once you turn it on, you'll hear it'll beep a couple of times inside the cab, and then the alarm will be active. Now as far as the alarm sound itself, it just uses the actual horn on the Pajero. There's no sign or anything like that. That said, the process is a little bit weird. I want to give a shout out to Vlad on the Pajero forum here in Australia. He's one of the guys that actually listed it up. It is listed in your manual, section 1, number 16, section 1, page 16, whatever that may be. Unfortunately, I can't locate my manual. I don't know what I've done with it. It's around somewhere. So if you can find that, that's going to step you through the process. Now, you do need to follow these steps exactly. And in particular, leaving the driver's side door open while you do part of this process. The majority of the feedback I've seen from people who are unsuccessful in getting this to trigger, they've skipped a step, they've missed a step, or they haven't followed the instructions specifically. So if you're going to have a crack at this, make sure you follow the instructions exactly as I provide them to you, and I'll step you through it in just a sec. If you don't, obviously that's not going to work. Supposedly the reason that they don't set these up as standard or have them switched on is because they're in transit, they don't want the alarms going off, etc, etc. That's what Mitsubishi says anyway. To give you an idea of what you're going to need to do, you're going to need to unlock the car seat in the driver's seat. You can do it from outside the vehicle, but you need to reach the wiper stalk to do the process. With the driver's side door open, ensure your key is not in the ignition. Pull back on the wiper stalk for approximately 10 seconds, and then you will hear a faint beep. Keep the stalk pulled back until the beeping stops. This is actually going to be a bit easier than it sounds. Hold back the stalk until the beeping stops. Whilst still keeping the stalk pulled back, press the unlock button on the remote control. 3 beeps, then your alarm is activated. Release the wiper stalk. If you hear 1 beep, then your alarm is deactivated. So while keeping the stalk pulled back, press the unlock button again until you hear 3 beeps. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to deactivate it because mine is currently activated, so you'll get to see what the process is here. So then what we'll do is we'll go back and we'll reactivate it so you can see the process from the start. Alright, let's jump in and we'll show you how this works. So here we go. So we're inside the car, driver's door is open. Driver's door must stay open. Pulling the wiper stalk towards me. Going to hold onto that for 10 seconds. Wait until we can hear some beeping. Starting to beep now. Wait for that to stop. Press the unlock button on the remote. 1 beep. Release the stalk. That means we have now turned our alarm off. Again, just to show you the process, driver's door is open. So no key in the ignition. All I'm going to do, grab the wiper stalk, pull on it, and hold that for 10 seconds till we hear it start to beep. There she is. Wait for it to stop. When it stops, hit the unlock button on your key. 3 beeps means that's now been activated. That's it. It's that simple. Now I'm just going to leave the camera inside the vehicle. I'm going to get out and I'm going to lock it up, and you're going to hear the alarm activate, and there'll be a number of different beeps to signify that the has actually activated. I'm going to leave the windows down so we can open up the car from the outside so we can set the alarm off. Car's now all shut up. We're just going to lock up the car using the remote, and you're going to hear a number of beeps that's going to signify that the alarm is now active. Here we go. Now now going to see that little LED light flashing on the dash there. Your alarm's active, you're good to go. And just as a test, the car is still locked, the alarm is activated. I've left the windows open so I can just reach in and pop the door open. We'll set that alarm off and you get an idea what that's going to do. So I'm just going to reach in, unlock it, we'll open the door and you're going to hear the alarm start to activate. I think you've got about 10-15 seconds or so before it starts to go off. Now even if I close that door, it doesn't make any difference, the alarm's still going to activate. And that's the alarm. So any of those buttons will turn it off. If you hit the lock button, it's actually going to lock the car again and reactivate the alarm. So before you want to do that, you want to go out and just check your doors, make sure everything's locked. If there's somebody trying to get in, make sure they're racked off. Now I can't take credit for these. As I said, a lot of these things are shared on the Pajero forum. So if you've got a Pajero, it's well worth your time. Jump on, sign up, have a look at the information. Lots of sharing of info, guys, in the Pajero. And I must say it's really, really handy. Now Vlad's actually the guy that pointed this out to everybody on the Pajero forum. Now you may have heard me refer to Vlad before because he's actually the guy that made the traction control mod that I've installed into the Pajero. I'll put a card just up there which will link you to the traction control mod and how I installed it. Gotta say, if you have a Pajero, and in particular if you have one that has the factory diff rear locker, that traction control mod is invaluable. If you've just got the normal traction control, probably really not worth it to you unless you want to turn the traction control off altogether. Some people like to do that in sand. I tend to just leave the traction control on, haven't had any issues with it. But in particular, if you've got a rear diff lock as standard in your Pajero, what you may or may not know is that when you turn that rear diff lock on, your traction control and your front wheels turns off. So you no longer have your traction control at the front. You've got your rear diff lock on, no traction control at the front. What that mod allows you to do is to reactivate the traction control on the front wheels whilst having the diff lock engaged. Now if you do that, the Pajero is almost unstoppable. Absolutely brilliant. If whatever I'm climbing is slippery, and in particular wet, and it's on a bit of an off camber, particularly in the back wheels, got to go up, I often find that the rear diff lock on will cause those rear wheels to shift one way or slide out a little bit. And you can see here, that has got me into a number of different predicaments where had I just relied on the traction control, I don't believe that would have happened because I'm yet to experience that slide out with the traction control because it's working on one wheel or the other. With both of those wheels turning, if one starts to slip, you tend to go out to the side or something like that. Out of all the different things that I've done on the Pajero, as far as making it more capable off-road, obviously I love the lift, I love the bigger tyres, I love having the bash plates on. That just gives me more confidence to take the Pajero anywhere I want to go, within reason of course. As far as Vlad's traction control mod, I can highly recommend it. I'll put a link down in the description to the Pajero forum and to the actual page where you can go and have a look at the information on the traction control mod itself. And if you're interested, get in touch with Vlad and he can hook you up and send you one out. Now hopefully in the not too distant future, I'm also going to look at getting one of the M&M torque lockup kits. I haven't decided which way I'm going to go with that, but that's going to be a mod that I'm looking to get done. Again, it's a DIY mod, it's from M&M, I think it's M&M 4x4 possibly. I'll put a link again down in the description if you're interested in that, and a link to the Pajero forum where you're going to be able to find information. Anyway, that's the bottom line, that's it. That's how you turn on your alarm in your Pajero, and I bet you didn't even know you had one. Happy as a pig in it when I found it. And again, big shout out to the guys, and Vlad in particular, mate, for mentioning that on the Pajero forum. That was a great help, mate, much appreciated. So that's it, that's how to activate the alarm in your Pajero, which I bet you didn't even know you had, just like me when I got mine. If there's anything like this on the Pajero in particular that you know about, stick it in a comment below if you would, and I'll check it out. I've got a lot of people who subscribe and watch my videos that you know, into the Pajeros and that sort of stuff. I really like this channel to be a good resource of information for people with Pajeros, whether it's just doing DIY or simple little tricks like this that people may not know about. Really want to get that information out there and help everybody out. Hopefully this was useful information to you if you didn't know about the alarm. Now you do. I can imagine as soon as you've finished watching this, everybody's going to race out to the car and be testing to see whether they've got the alarm. If you go outside and you have a go at this, can you come back in and let us know in the comments whether it worked on yours? Let us know what year model it was and whether it worked for you. For now, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate your comments, I appreciate your views, and of course I appreciate your subscriptions if you choose to do so. If you choose not to, I'm all good with that as well. I just appreciate you stopping by. Thanks very much. We'll catch you on the next one. That's it. Get out there and try your alarm. See if it works. Let me know.
And then last minute to the right. Nah, you're sitting on the running boards. What's that, sorry? If you give it a little bit more poke, you might pop over it. Just a little bit. Not hell for leather. Stop about there. Try from there. So close. Nah.
One more.
No dice.